Oh, man, a lot to talk about today. The Sixers got screwed by the NBA. Ben Simmons is out tonight. Does he have a knee injury? What's going on here? We got 11 players active tonight versus the Atlanta Hawks. Good Lord, let's get into it. Oh, yeah, 2 podcast episodes in one day just because I've been putting off talking about the Eagles earlier, and I wanted to say this Sixers stuff today before the game tonight against Atlanta. So 2 podcast episodes. If you watch both of them, you're a real one. Thank you for being part of Run It Back Nation. This episode of Run It Back Philly is brought to you by the Teespring Store. Click the link in the description. Get all the Run It Back merch, including this Depressed Philly Sports Fan t-shirt in Sixers red, because what is more depressing than the current situation in the NBA with the Philadelphia 76ers team? This season stinks right now. It's a disaster situation with the coronavirus. Teams are playing with nobody. You know what I mean? Like, there's only 72 games in a season, and we're losing like 10 games. We're playing 10 of these games, it seems like, with a depleted roster. It's just, it's ridiculous. BuyMeACoffee.com/runitback. I give you sports talk every single day. If you would like to show your appreciation, you can do so by buying me coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/runitback. We're at 20 supporters, which means the next supporter gets to choose the location that I record the podcast episode in. So if you're the next supporter, if you're the 21st supporter on BuyMeACoffee.com, go ahead and type in there where you want me to record a podcast from, and I will record a podcast from a random location. I'm serious. I don't care where you put. I'm going to do it. Hit the like button if you hit the like button. Help me rank up on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. 50% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed. I think that's very rude. I give you these episodes every single day. All I want is a subscription. Hit the dislike button if you're a fraud. Let's get into it. We got screwed by the NBA, okay? Because on Saturday, people were saying, why is this game being played? Why is the NBA making us play a game when we have 7 active players, right? 7. And they're like, yeah, we're going to play it anyway. And even I was like, who cares? Let's just play the game. It's a meaningless game. It doesn't matter. It's a 72-game season. 1 loss isn't a big deal. I want to see Tyrese Maxey ball out on a Saturday afternoon. I don't give a damn if we play this game. But then last night it comes out that the Celtics Heat game was postponed because they didn't have the minimum required 8 players on the active roster. Now I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I got to pull out my calculator for this. 8 minus 7 equals 1. Oh, 1. So 8 is more than 7. So 7 is less than 8. So the minimum required amount of players is 8, and we had 7. So we didn't have the minimum amount required of players. You know what I'm trying to say? But when it comes to, big market Miami, big market Boston Celtics, nationally televised Celtics Miami Heat game suddenly gets postponed. Why? Because that's a big-time matchup on a national TV station that's going to make the NBA a lot of money, and they didn't want to lose the ratings. It's BS. And Joel Embiid was pissed about it. And Joel Embiid is one of my favorite Philadelphia athletes of all time, partly because he's just brutally honest, and he doesn't care about getting fined by the NBA, and he's outspoken, and he's going to say what he wants. Joel Embiid tweeted, "They hate the process." Talking about the NBA. Talking about the NBA being unfair. He said, "Still living rent-free in their heads. Yes, I woke up today and chose violence." So Joel Embiid honestly thinks that the NBA has it out for him, that the NBA doesn't like him because he is part of the process era that the NBA hated, and they forced Sam Hinkie out. Joel Embiid hated that. Joel Embiid's pissed off. Don't piss off Joel Embiid, all right? So we have 8 players out versus the Atlanta Hawks. Joel Embiid is listed as probable with back tightness. I don't know if that's a true thing or not. I think the back-to-back rest we say that, or we just say probable so a team can't game plan against us. I haven't seen anything that showed Joel Embiid is sore or injured or whatever. Hopefully he plays in this game because, come on, man, I want a reason to watch the game. You know what I mean? It's a Monday night. I don't have work. I get to actually sit down and watch the game. I thought Saturday and I get to watch the game Saturday and Monday. I'm excited about these two games. I get to watch uninterrupted, and the Saturday game turns out being meaningless, and I don't really want this Atlanta Hawks game to turn out to be meaningless either. I would love for Joel Embiid to play in this game. But if you're playing without all these players, maybe Doc Rivers says, you know what, we're not going to play Joe. We're not going to play him. Because what's the point? What's the point of him going out there when we could get him extra rest, right? So who knows? He's probable with back tightness, okay? Ben Simmons is out with knee treatment and is listed as day-to-day. And when I see day-to-day, it gives me nightmares. It scares me. It reminds me of the Markelle Fultz situation where every single week it was like, he will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. The Sixers medical staff, he will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. 3 weeks go by. He will be reevaluated in next month. He's flying out to LA to see a specialist on top of another specialist who's also a specialist, and he will be reevaluated in 3 months. It's scary. All right, but Ben Simmons is listed as day-to-day, and I'm going to talk about whether or not I think he's actually injured or not because it makes a lot of sense. But look at who's out tonight versus the Atlanta Hawks. Shake Milton, Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, and Vincent Poirier, and Ben Simmons, who apparently has a knee injury. All of those players are out, Doc Rivers says, because they were at a table with Seth Curry, and then Seth Curry tested positive for coronavirus. Now, this is really blowing my mind because the NBA, apparently when they were in the bubble, they got tested twice a day, right? They got tested twice a day. So I just don't get it. It didn't come out that these players are positive for COVID, right? Seth Curry is the only one that tested positive, but they're saying that they had close contact with him, sitting at a table with him, so now they can't play. My question is, why can't they just get a coronavirus test? I don't understand. It's been how many days now? And these players are still out because they have to quarantine. I don't get it. Why don't they get a COVID test? If they test negative, they get to play. If they test positive, they have to quarantine. What is this? I had my son in the hospital a couple weeks ago. He's 5 years old. He was in there for something else, an intestinal issue, which ended up being not an issue. Thank you for your concern. But he got a COVID test while he was in the hospital, and we got the results back in 2 hours. Regular people that don't have millions of dollars, that are not celebrity NBA athletes, got a COVID test back in 2 hours. But we can't seem to get our players to have a COVID test come back positive or negative, and they have to just sit out for an unlisted amount of time. I'm so sick of this damn situation. When is the world and sports as we know it going to go back to normal? It started in March of last year. We were supposed to flatten the curve. We flattened the curve, and they're like, nope, it's still here. Almost an entire damn year later, nope, it's still here. Come on, bro. It's getting to the point where if we're going to lose a decade of our lives, we might as well just live life. How long are we going to quarantine for? How long is everything going to be shut down for? I would almost rather die of coronavirus right now than continue this situation. I know, I said I'm not going to talk about coronavirus on the podcast because it gets political and all that kind of shit, but that's my opinion, and you can like it or leave it. So let's look at who's active for the 76ers tonight because we have so many players out. So here's who's active, okay? Ben Simmons is out, all right? So that's Shake Milton's out, so that's going to start Tyrese Maxey at point guard, which whether the game matters or not, whether the game is competitive or not, whether we have a chance at winning the game or not, I'm still excited to watch some Tyrese Maxey play basketball. You know that, and I'm sure you are too. So I might go live during the game, and we can rant and rave about Tyrese Maxey and all that stuff. Dakota Mathias is going to be the backup point guard, I guess. What else we got? Seth Curry's out. Shake Milton's out. That leaves Isaiah Joe as our starting shooting guard. Korkmaz is still out. Danny Green is in. That leaves Danny Green as our starting small forward. Matisse Thybulle's out. Terrence Ferguson is out. Tobias Harris is out. Mike Scott is out. Paul Reed, Joel Embiid, Dwight Howard. So we have Tyrese Maxey, Isaiah Joe, Danny Green, Paul Reed, and Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid plays tonight. And that's our roster. I don't know how we're going to get anything done with such a little amount of players once again, but I do want to say this. I am excited to watch Tyrese Maxey play alongside Joel Embiid. I really, 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 really hope Joel Embiid plays in this game because we will get to see what a point guard who's not afraid to shoot, who can make the defense move, who can run a pick and roll and make action happen in the half court looks like with Joel Embiid in the middle. We will get a chance to see what that looks like. Because in my humble opinion, the ceiling for Tyrese Maxey is through the roof. The ceiling for Tyrese Maxey is like Derrick Rose level, Allen Iverson level. Seriously, the ceiling is unlimited at this point. At the age, the poise and ball handling and just the offensive dominance that he shows at such a young age. I can't find a weakness in the kid's game. There's nothing like, yo, he has to work on this, this, and this. You know, he's great, but he can add this to his game. I don't hear anybody saying anything. He looks like a complete player at 20 years old. The only thing he can possibly do is get better at everything. So I'm very, very excited for Tyrese Maxey, and I would love to be able to watch Tyrese Maxey tonight with Joel Embiid on the court. Now, is Ben Simmons injured? And if he is injured, is that why he's playing the way he's playing this season? Because, you know, I'm up here ranting and raving about how soft Ben Simmons is playing this season and how I start to realize, like, it doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Something changed in his mentality this season compared to even just last season. But if you look at his rookie season, if you watch his rookie highlights, this dude was going hard 24/7 every single play. 26-point triple-doubles, 30-point triple-doubles, 21, 22, 23-point triple-doubles. This kid was putting in the work on the offensive end and getting it done as a rookie. That's why he won Rookie of the Year. I remember back then they were saying, is Ben Simmons the best rookie ever? The expectations were so high. And he comes out this season playing timid and playing scared and averaging 13 points a game and refusing to shoot and shying away from contact. Not only will he not take a power forward or a center to the rim, he gets to the point where Landry Shamet is between him and the basket and he passes the ball. He's completely shying away from contact, and I'm starting to think it has to do with his knee. Because let's go back to the bubble. Let's go back to did it happen in the bubble or right before the bubble started? I think it happened right before coronavirus, right? And then Ben Simmons we thought maybe he would play in the bubble, but he didn't. I don't remember. But either way, he dislocated his kneecap landing, okay? And then he had some kind of floating thing inside his knee that he had to get removed, and it looked very painful, and maybe he's scared. Maybe that changes your mentality. Maybe now every time Ben Simmons is on his way to the basket, he's subconsciously thinking about his knee and how if I land like this or I land like this or I land like this, I'm going to fracture my kneecap or I'm going to tear my ACL or I'm going to whatever. You know, maybe that injury that happened 6 months ago changed his mentality and now he needs to somehow get past it. Right? Because none of you can deny, even your big Ben Simmons fanboys who probably already hit the dislike button on this video, who are always in the comments. I mean, you hate me, but you can't stop listening to me. I don't know how to help you. But anyway, even you guys can't deny that Ben Simmons is playing timid and playing scared. And most Sixers fans who started out as huge Ben Simmons fans like I do, most of you feel the way I feel right now. Incredibly disappointed in Ben Simmons as an NBA player in his fourth season. I'm really just left with it's a bunch of 16-year-olds that are Ben Simmons fanboys and have his poster on their wall and some jerseys and stuff. And I'm 34 years old. I'm not going to sit here and argue with a bunch of teenagers. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on Ben Simmons fanboys. But even you guys can't argue that Ben Simmons is playing timid and he's playing scared this year. And we got to ask ourselves, is it because of the knee? Is it because of the knee injury that occurred? Now, the knee injury occurred, and they said he's 100% healthy, and he said he's 100% healthy, but I'm not seeing it in the effort, right? So is he scared of a knee injury, or is his knee actually injured right now? So then it comes out that Ben Simmons is out tonight and he's having his knee looked at because he has knee soreness. So now we have, this is not only can that affect his mentality. Obviously, if he has pain in his knee while he's going to the rim or while he's playing the game on the court, that's going to affect how hard he plays the game too, right? But also, we talked about this a lot. Joel Embiid was given load management from the time he came in the NBA. Joel Embiid was on a minutes restriction from the time he came in the NBA. And I always say it's because he's 7 feet tall. He has a giant body. His joints and ankles and bones and muscle in a 7-foot body don't hold up as well as they do on a 5'11", 6-foot tall Allen Iverson type of frame. They don't hold up as well. So Joel Embiid was given load management and minutes restriction and all that stuff from the jump to try to protect his joints and his muscles and his knees and his ankles and all this stuff, right? We just assumed that, I think because Ben Simmons plays like a guard, that he was as durable as a 6'2" human being. Maybe the medical staff, everybody, it seems like they overlooked all of this. They all overlooked the fact that Ben Simmons is 6'11", 240. You know what I mean? This is also a giant human being who has joints the same way as a Joel Embiid, right? This is also a gigantic human being whose joints maybe won't hold up as well as those of a smaller player or a smaller person, okay? And we need to take that into account now, because not only is he a gigantic person and he should be load managed and minutes restriction and all this stuff the way Joel Embiid was from the beginning, Ben Simmons also plays like a guard, full speed, plant, turn, jump, plant, turn, jump, the entire game, 30-some minutes a game. So now you're talking about almost a 7-footer who's putting way more stress on his joints than Joel Embiid does. But we never considered it. We never considered that he should be on a minutes restriction or that he should get load management or that we should take care of his joints, knees, and ankles and that kind of thing. And now we're seeing it, and it's a scary road because hopefully this doesn't get worse from here. Because if Ben Simmons has a lingering knee issue and is going to continue to have a knee issue and is, listed as 100%, comes back and plays a couple games, averages 13 points a game, and then is out with a sore knee. If someone who's almost 7 feet tall that plays as hard as he plays physically has a lingering knee issue, that could be detrimental to not only this season and not only this Sixers team, but it could be detrimental to his career. So it's something you don't want to mess with as far as that. And Ben Simmons' agent and his team should honestly be worried. This is something we don't want to mess with. If this knee is not actually 100% healthy, you're not practicing, you're not going on the floor, you're not even strapping up your shoes. Because you're 25 years old, you have so many NBA years ahead of you, you do not want to ruin that right now. Right? And also, all you guys, and me included at some points and certain situations that would like a Ben Simmons trade to happen, because whether you feel like he doesn't fit with Joel Embiid or whether you feel like you could get a Bradley Beal or you could get a James Harden or you could get a Zach LaVine or whatever that would fit better, that would actually shoot the ball, yada, yada, yada. Anybody that wants a trade to happen like that, this is scary for a trade situation too. Because if he has a lingering knee issue and he's almost 7 feet tall, that lowers his trade value, does it not? So it just sucks. The situation sucks right now. It's scary for Ben Simmons moving forward. You don't want him to be the next Greg Oden, who never, ever, ever reaches his potential because of lingering knee issues his whole career, or had to retire early, or whatever. So hopefully Ben Simmons is okay. Hopefully his knee can get to 100% and he can get back on the floor this season. But honestly, if there's a bigger issue with that knee, bro, sit him down. Because the way that he's looked from the beginning of this season, I say there's got to be something going on. Because he doesn't look, not only does he not look improved, he looks like he's regressing. And if that's because of a knee issue, you got to sit him down. And What does that say for the Sixers moving forward if Ben Simmons does get sat for the season? What if Ben Simmons is out for the season with a knee injury? What does that say for us? Well, we get to see a lot more Tyrese Maxey alongside Joel Embiid. But as much as I rag on Ben Simmons for his offensive game and his half-court game and how much he plays soft when it comes to attacking defenders and that sort of thing, his effect on the court cannot go unnoticed. His distribution ability, his defensive ability, all of the things he brings to a team, he makes the team good. He makes a bad team good right away. I don't know if the Sixers would be as dominant without Ben Simmons as they were in that 7-1 start. I want that to be clear. Like, I want Ben Simmons to be the scorer and the dominant offensive player that I know he can be. But even if he's not, even if he is just a 6'10 Draymond Green, right, that's an overpay. Number 1 pick on a max contract, that's an overpay. We know that. But he still adds an immense amount of value to the team, right? The Golden State Warriors weren't better without 6'7 Draymond Green, right? So that's what I'm saying. So the Sixers are still worse without Ben Simmons, even though I say every day I want Ben Simmons to be better because I know how good he can be. That doesn't mean the Sixers are better without him. So if you add a guard like Tyrese Maxey with more minutes running with the starting lineup and stuff and keep Ben Simmons on the floor doing what he does, now your team is lethal. So if we lose Ben Simmons for an extended period of time, it's not a good thing for the Sixers, even though people that absolutely hate Ben Simmons would love to see that. That's all I got, man. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back. Sixers Hawks tonight. We got hardly any players again. The NBA is in this horrible situation. I'm so tired of it. I'm ready for the coronavirus thing to be over. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button if you're a fraud. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give me a rating and a review. Have a great day. Peace.